You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 20th meeting of the LaPorte County Election Board special meeting. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
All right. I'm going to call this meeting to order. LaPorte County Election Board, October 20th, 2023. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Roll call.
Heather Stevens.
Present.
Jim McCalco.
Present.
Are there any corrections to the agenda? Hearing none, that is approved. Any corrections to the meeting minutes from September 18th, 2023 or the October 4th, 2023 meeting?
Motion to approve both.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Those are approved. It's time for public comment. Does anyone have a public comment? Please state your name.
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. I'm here as the president of the Michigan City Housing Authority. Good afternoon, election board members. Yesterday, your bus, the county bus for voting, was at our facility. I believe it's 621 East Michigan Boulevard. And there was an individual that was driving the bus by the name of Deborah Chubb, or Deb Chubb, who was riding the bus. And I just know Miss Haney. I can't remember her first name. She was also on the bus as well. Miss Chubb came into our housing authority, and I didn't know why she was there. I was meeting with, we was conducting business on the inside, so I didn't know why she was there. I kept seeing her walking up and down our hallways, and I didn't understand any of that. But then I went to the back room, and we had a conversation with my ED, and we was interrupted by one of our workers who said that they said that you need to come and move your truck because you are in violation of election laws. So me and the ED both got up. I was there. The bus wasn't there prior to me getting there. I'm gonna try to make this short because I am filing a written complaint as well. When we opened the door and I went outside, Deborah Chubb started yelling and screaming at me, saying I was violating laws, referring to my mother as a crook, calling me out of my name. I didn't take kindly to it. I told her, you should be happy that we allow you to come here, even though as a board we didn't vote for that. But her behavior was appalling as usual. There is a history between myself and Ms. Chubb. I distanced myself from that kind of conduct. Her behavior kept going and going. And I finally spoke to Ms. Haney at the back of the bus, and then we all went our separate ways. And then she opened the door, she said something, I made a response to her, you don't have to be here. And she told me that we doing you a favor. I can just leave now and your people can go find somewhere else to vote. So out of a courtesy of not letting this stuff go any further, I moved my truck. I wasn't out there campaigning, I was at work. I had my name badge. She knew I was inside, she seen me. She purposely caused a situation and tried to make it become more dangerous than what it could have been and what it should have been. Her laughter, her ignorance was totally unacceptable. I called Miss Heather Stevens. She informed me that she did speak to someone on the bus. And I don't want to misquote her, but I believe she told me that she asked them, was he there before you got there? And I believe they told her yes. I believe Miss Stevens asked them to move the bus somewhere else. It was such a big deal, I believe. They refused to. Miss Chubb was the driver of the bus. She wanted to be confrontational, and she wanted to cause problems and conflict with me. As you know, they are pushing their candidates, a group of candidates that she brought on board and trying to get them in to do whatever they want to do. I've been a Democrat for 38 years of my life. 1 year I declared Republican, And that shouldn't even make a difference, right? I should be treated with respect. I give her respect, I give all of them respect. It's the same thing with the Democratic Party. I'm tired of it. If it's not her, it's someone else, it's someone else, someone else. But to be at work, at my place of business, and then order one of our workers to interrupt my meeting with our executive director, she doesn't have that authority. We don't work for the county. We're not ran by the city. We are autonomous. She had no business ordering none of our workers to do anything. I'm sure Ms. Stevens will clarify a lot of this stuff, but it's my goal here to make sure when you're in that bus, forgive me, when you're in that bus, you're a county worker. You represent this county. They represent you. Her behavior was totally out of control. She should never be on that bus again. It is not a right to ride on that bus or to be on part of that bus. It's a privilege. You guys are not doing a good enough job checking these people before they get on the bus. I know the Democratic Party can put someone on. I know the Republican Party can put someone on. But when you do that radical, why would you continue to put someone on the bus that's only out to cause trouble in our community? I deserve to go to work and don't have to, I shouldn't feel no pressure at my job. That's wrong. I'm a public servant. I take my oath serious. This board needs to make sure that she is removed from that bus and she never gets on that bus again. I'm not asking for nothing more and I'm not asking for nothing less. On the other end, we will deal with her on our side through our board. And I'm sure she will never be able to come back to our premises again. I'm asking you guys to look into this. I'm asking that Ms. Stevens, I hope that she briefed you all what happened and we make a swift decision and make sure she never be able to get on that bus again. On another note, I'm also here to discuss an issue that happened to me back in May. And I don't know if this is the right format or not, but I was at Powerhouse Church helping my son with his campaign. I was approached by an elected official, and his name was Michael Schultz. Mr. Schultz walked up to me. There were several witnesses that was there, and I will disclose their name off the record to you guys if you decide to investigate. Mr. Schultz walked up to me with a Greg Coulter button on his shirt. He said what you're doing is sleazy. You and your son should not be on the same ballot. What you did was illegal. Greg Coulter is a friend of mine. I know the family for years, and I don't like it. And I said, so. And I laughed at him. Then he said, I don't think you'll find this funny. I know you got problems at the King Center, and you need your tax exemption. You need to get your taxes, tax exemption done this year. And he started talking about we're behind or this or that. And I was, excuse me, I'm the president of the board, but I'm not here in that capacity. We have a board. If you want to go talk to the board, you don't come and talk to me at the election, at this polling place. You're out of place. He went on and told me that he was going to make it hard. Since that time, he held true to his statements. Right now, we had to hire an attorney. We had 2 continuances, 3, and now we have a lawyer involved, and now the case is finally going to be heard. This board did not clarify good enough for me the ruling that you made when the Democratic Party came before you, LaPorte County Democratic Party came before you. Our mayor of our city also used the same thing on the radio, said what, and Mr. Dabney as well, continually going out telling the public I did something wrong. I think something needs to be put in writing. I think a statement needs to go out making sure that the people of this city knows, this county knows that I did nothing illegal. These same naysayers that part of the Democratic Party, Mr. Arnold and his son, no one said nothing about him or to him about what he did, which I don't think he did nothing wrong. Name recognition is name recognition, right? There's no state statute prohibiting anyone from doing what Mr. Arnold did, and I did, and my son did. I told you guys I was running as an independent. I told you my son was running. I didn't hide nothing. My brochures, my mailers have my face on it. My son is 32 and I'm 56. There's a big difference here. But because you guys left it so open to interpretation, these individuals in the Democratic Party, the LaPorte County Democratic Party, has ran with it and continue to go door to door telling people that I'm a crook, that I'm wrong, that I've done something wrong to them. Matter of fact, it cost my son his election. I don't remember the vote total. I think it was, I don't know, maybe 30, 40, 50 votes, somewhere in there. My son lost his election because of it. This stuff is not right, what's going on. In every election, it seems like I'm in the middle of some controversy. To avoid all of Michigan City, I came on State Street and I voted. I was the first one in the door to vote. I was treated as a person they see on TV every day fighting for the people. I was so happy to be there. I was welcome to come and vote. All of our polling places should be like that. All the atmospheres should be like that. But for some reason in this county, once you go to the Republican Party or you switch parties, all you do is get ridiculed and disrespected. I don't know how much more of this I'm going to be able to take. An elected official weaponizing his elected position to attack me and go after me and carry out on his promise, his threat. In the state of Indiana, that is called intimidation. To place somebody in fear for a prior lawful act is intimidation. Mr. Schultz knew what he was doing and what he was saying. I had a lawful act to be out campaigning for my son. I had a lawful act to campaign for anybody I wanted to. He did not have a lawful act to threaten me with retaliation by taking something away from a center I am just a board member of. That's intimidation. Clear cut. Make no mistake about it. Had it been me that did it in the reverse roles, I would be arrested by now. We don't need double standards in our community. We need fairness and people to be treated with dignity and decency when they go out and vote. This is an everyday walk of life that you expect from a person, right? Behave. Don't threaten nobody. If you don't like somebody running, get over it. But to hold up our youth center and treat our young people the way he did, and now he's holding us up as well, he's doing it, it's shameful. And it's more evidence of intimidation. I hope that this board looks into all these allegations. I'll be willing to sit and give you testimony under oath. I will be happy to provide you with any video or audio that I have. I've had enough. I've had enough. I just can't stomach the LaPorte County Democratic Party, the makeup of it and the way they treat me. I just can't tolerate it no more. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I'm sad to come here on that note. But I will say, being able to come from Michigan City and go vote anywhere, it was a pleasure to do that and to show everybody that it does work. I will be releasing that video showing how easy it was next week, and I just, again, thank you.
Mr. McCormick, just a quick question. Did you make a police report on that intimidation threat you're talking about?
I don't know if I called the police or not that day.
Okay.
I know I did contact officials. I did know, and I try to just like, I try to reach out to some officials and let people know what had happened. And I don't want to disclose no names at this time on the open mic. And if there is an investigation, I don't want to interfere with that investigation as well. But yes, our tax exemption, he held it up, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do. And I don't know, I voted for Mr. Schultz. He thanked me for putting him on my personal brick of people to vote for, but I will never make that mistake again. It's just bad. Any other questions before I sit down? Thank you.
Wait, I have one. Your truck, did it have signs on it or
Yes,
something?
it does.
Okay. I just want to understand what the issue was.
Yes, I don't know. You got to ask them. I didn't see no issue because that's where I work. And to be honest with you, but pursuant to federal laws, we don't have no business having anything to do with elections on federal property. That's a no-no in itself. We was just grateful that Miss Heather Stevens was giving us a chance to have an opportunity for our individual people in our residence that is in my jurisdiction to have the right to vote. Maybe next time, maybe we might have to park it on the street, but it will not be in our driveway again. There are serious consequences that's going to happen with Ms. Chubb's behavior, and I hope that this board address it and do something about it.
If you could please submit written complaints,
Yes, I
I
will.
appreciate that.
I will.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any other public comment?
Just so you are aware, your mics are not on, so we cannot hear you very well. You might have to.
Mine's showing it's on.
Angela Hensman, LaPorte County Democratic Party Chair, 237 Leo Avenue. I wanted to respond to his complaint only because I was the one who was initially contacted from the voter van. And I spoke with both of the ladies after the fact to kind of get a better idea of what happened. I will say they said they came to the Housing Authority location and went in like they do at every location and said, "Where would you like us to park? We have our van here." They had permission to be there. Our office had already set up that schedule with them. And so they said, go ahead and park here. It was the only location that was available at the Housing Authority. And the girls showed me pictures where there's not much room for parking. And so they parked there. And about 15 minutes in, Juanita said she noticed that Mr. McCormick's vehicle was parked there with the stickers. And they contacted me and said, is this legal? At that point, it wasn't clear if it was before or after they had moved, put their van there. And we said, well, if it's within 50 feet, it is not legal. They checked, it was closer than 50 feet. We said, well, something has to move. At that point, we didn't realize that they had parked there after he had. And I said, someone needs to ask him if he can move his vehicle. We can't have, campaigning material close to the van. That is a problem. So I know Juanita said she went in. She did say, I asked very nicely, we have a problem. Your vehicle is parked here. Is there any way that you could move your vehicle? To which he came out and got angry, and there was an altercation. I cannot talk or speak to any of the conversation between him and the workers. I just know what I had been told from our end. The reality of the situation is, I was told there was nowhere else they could have parked. It wasn't a matter of that they parked there on purpose or that they didn't move because they were trying to be obstinate. It was that with a big van like that, there has to be a certain space. And there were cars parked in front and behind them on both sides, and on the street. There was nowhere else for them to park. So if they wanted me, one of them is on the van right now, and I just wanted to communicate that it was not an act that was on purpose. And at that point, it was one of those things where I don't see why it was such a problem for someone to say, I'm sorry, I will move my vehicle at this point because I understand that there's nowhere else that these people can go. It was very close to that. And the other question is, the schedule was posted. And so everyone knew that the voting van was going to be at that location that day. And so I don't know, we're probably never going to go back there, not because of this incident, but because we had one voter the whole time we were at that location. But I just wanted to communicate. This was not done as a way to cause any trouble, but we did have a situation which could have been resolved, if he would have been able to move his vehicle. But I'm just telling you that this was not done as a game or some kind of thing that was there to cause trouble. It was because they were told to park there initially by the housing authority, and there was nowhere else that that van could have gone to be at that location. So that's what I understand the situation to be. I just wanted to make sure we clarified that. Like I said, I am not sure. I wasn't there. I have no idea what the conversation looked like. That was just the situation as it was explained to me. Thank you.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Hensman, the mobile voting unit, as we learned last year, is the property of the county election board. So if there are issues involving the mobile voting unit, they should not be contacting party chairs. They should be contacting me.
I am in the voter registration office, and I did talk to you, Heather.
Yes, but
And you
also,
told me to tell them.
now also to state that they could not have pulled up or have backed up, that is just simply not true. There's plenty of space. He was the one with the vehicle in front of him and a vehicle behind. He was also parked on the street. So yes, it could have been as simple as move the mobile unit forward to not create issues. The mobile unit is not going to be used for bickering, fighting, or political garbage. It is not.
Right. And you weren't the one who told me to tell them to have him move his vehicle?
No,
Yes, you were.
no,
I went to you.
no.
You're on oath,
I-
ma'am.
I reached out. One of the workers got a hold of me, and I'd have the whole conversation, the whole thing. It was a photo. We're here with the mobile vote, but this is beside us. And it said, so, is this legal? And there was a photo. I said, do you have a 50-foot rope? They said yes. I said, is it 50 feet from the door? They sent me 2 photos, and I said, ugh, is he around? And they said, yeah. I told him while we're here he needs to move. I don't know if he will. And I said, okay, was he there first or were you guys? He's inside. I don't know. Maybe him.
They
So-
they never talked to me, but I just briefly, that's my place of business. Like I said before, federal laws, it shouldn't even be there. I was parked on the street. There was ample room for them to move. In fact, Ms. Stevens told them to just move. The person that driving the bus refused to move. For whatever reason, they feel that they empowered to tell people what to do because they driving a bus. I'm conducting business at the Housing Authority, federal business, and I don't like to be interrupted. And none of them spoke to me. They never asked me. They sent one of our federal employees in to speak to me and interrupted a meeting saying I'm doing all kind of illegal activity. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? If we've only got this room for an hour, we
Okay.
have 4 complaints to get to.
Okay. I'll make it real short. Problem is, Daryl Borton, 800 State Road 212. Problem is, every meeting you watch on Alco TV or every meeting you attend, every time someone steps on Mr. McCormick's feet, the Democrat Party's blame or the Republican Party. You know what? He needs to really look at himself. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on. Old business, signing of CEB-40.
This is basically we're Vote Center County, and the second page is just about we have 70 electronic poll books.
Okay, do we need
That's
to
what those
approve
are.
this?
We just need to sign it. I don't know that we necessarily have to approve it. It's required to be signed, but we like to make sure everything's signed here publicly. So, or as much as we can.
I need to sign all of them.
Just the first 2. Your proxies. The proxies actually signed the last page, and that was when we did the public test on October 4th.
Okay. Signing of IEC 22, is that covered in that?
Yeah, I think that's the second page.
Okay. Okay, new business. Complaint number 1. Ads for Cheryl Flemington, Mary Lou McFadden, Ernie Summers running in the Beecher, filed by Kendra Bartlett on 9/26/2023. Is Kendra Bartlett here?
Yeah.
If you could step forward, ma'am. Raise your hand, please. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the penalties of perjury.
Yes.
State your name.
Kendra Bartlett.
All right. I'm going to have to keep this. I'm going to have to give you 2 minutes to state your case. We're very familiar with the complaints we prepared for today.
I don't have any other comments.
Okay. So you just rest on your complaint?
Yep.
Okay. Are Cheryl Flemington, Mary Lou McFadden, and Ernie Summers here? Step forward one at a time, please. You can all come up. Just. Okay. Let's start with Cheryl Flemington. Everyone raise their right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalties of perjury. All right, state your name, please.
Cheryl Flemington.
And what is your response to the complaint? I'll give you 2 minutes.
I am a candidate. Obviously, my son's my thing. We get as a candidate, we get a approval of the print that they put out for us. This one was at the Beecher. I reviewed it for text, sent it back, but I'm not real involved. I'm not involved at all in the layout. I'm not trying to shirk anything. I know my name is on this flyer. But I do know that as soon as we found that they were too small, they were corrected. I know Ernie caught it right away. If I'm not mistaken, he had asked them to correct all of them on the second ad, and they managed to get his changed, and ours didn't get changed till the next one. So it was an accident. I haven't run for office before. And we corrected it as soon as we knew it was out there.
How long was it in publication?
I think it went out on 2 ads, 2 different weeks. It's a weekly publication.
Okay.
And I think 2 of the ads went out like that, for me.
Okay.
And for Mary Lou, I think 1 went out for Ernie.
So 2, 2, and 2?
One for me, as I know.
1 for you?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions?
Do any of you help finance that? Sorry. Do any of you help finance on your own individually as far as those ads, or is it strictly through the committee?
It's through the committee.
And this committee, who's on it?
It's a PAC, and Mary Lou is on it, but the president is not here and the secretary is not here.
When did you file a statement of organization for that?
4 years ago.
4 years ago? Is that the Long Beach Party Committee?
No.
No.
Oh.
It was started as the Reunite Long Beach PAC, and the name was changed to the Better Government for Long Beach PAC because the Reunite thing seems to have been resolved.
Okay.
I do have a copy of the publications because I keep track of that.
You have a copy of the publications? Are you talking about the ads?
We have those.
Yeah, we have those.
And I'm kind of,
Does anybody have a copy of the statement of organization? Because we do not.
and we're kind of brushing on issue number 1 down at the bottom as well, but I'm concerned that we don't have any record of you existing.
This here indicates, at least what Ms. Stevens gave me, Long Beach.
So
Party
that was the
Committee.
only thing, Taylor, if you could shed some light, that was the only thing with Long Beach in the name that we could find?
Yes, so I went and looked back, I started looking back all the way to 2016. I started in 2021 mid-year, and I've never received an annual campaign finance report from this committee, which is supposed to be required. When I looked back to 2016, the only PAC that I could find was a Long Beach party, and that was established upon looking at the address and the document from a Jeff Bartlett and Kendra Bartlett live at the residence, which the campaign finance reports are attached to. I have not received, though, any campaign finance reports since I have been working for the county for that PAC either.
So the Better Government for Long Beach PAC, who is the president?
Laurel Kaczynski.
And who is the secretary? Okay, any other members?
The treasurer is Mary Kowalski.
Okay.
29th.
So that's for the one, Kendra Bartlett, who's the complainant here. I sincerely doubt that that's the same committee.
That is not the same committee.
Okay.
Oh.
It is incorporated and it's filed with the state, the Secretary of State's office. I don't know what's been filed here.
Okay. Can you produce a copy of that within the next 7 days?
I have her email, is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
You need our finances?
I need the statement of organization and then copies of your annual
So when it was
campaign
the,
finance statements.
Reunite Long Beach, send that to you, and then we haven't changed all this. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
That's
I can
perfect.
get it to you probably by Monday.
okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
So you're acknowledging that the font was too small.
Right.
Okay. I tried a little too long to try to find out what font this is until someone emailed me. I did print off a sample font sheet with the smallest fonts I could find in Microsoft Word. And if you're telling me that the font was too small, had you only used Arial Narrow, it would have been fine. So I could see the week one, it was too small. Unfortunately, my position is, I know you corrected it and thank you, and I'm not casting judgment, but at my last meeting I said to an empty room in LaPorte County that I was going to start enforcing these rules and regulations. So therefore I'm making a motion that a $100 fine for each week be assessed against each candidate for these publications. So it would be $100 for him, $200 for each of them. That's my motion.
And my comment is, it's not only the font. The statute also requires that it be clear and conspicuous, that it can be read. The statute also recommends 12-point, but then it kind of disclaims it later on with 7-point. But it's still in addition, though, to clear and conspicuous. So I would second that motion.
I will make a comment on that. To me personally, I thought it was okay in the contrasting background. It's just the font. Any discussion on the motion? We have a second.
Oh.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. How long? I'd say 10 days to pay.
Can we make it to the check to,
The clerk's office?
I believe the election board, it goes in our
I think it would
fund.
be the county election board.
County election board.
so I can deal with Heather and do that?
Yeah, that's a separate, well, the PAC is a whole separate issue I'd like to get resolved as soon as possible. Okay.
Actually, I know we don't work on the weekends, but I think you'll have it tonight.
Okay,
That's the person that handles it.
thank you.
And that's a different PAC than Long Beach Committee
We were,
party?
yes, it's two separate.
Okay.
Okay. All right, anything else on this complaint?
No.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Complaint number 2, campaign magnets belonging to Jocelyn Denham on a vehicle while working at Town Hall, filed by Crystal Freever, October 10th, 2023. Is Crystal Freever here, please?
She is in Florida for the entire week. She sent in an email asking if there was a Zoom link, which there was not. And so then she said that her statement that she emailed in would do.
Okay. Is Jocelyn Denham here? All right. Raise your right hand, please. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, under the penalties of perjury.
I do.
Please state your name.
Jocelyn Denham.
All right, you have 2 minutes. Thank you.
I simply just forgot to take them off. I run a hectic morning. I drive around town with my magnets on town roads all day long. Pull into the office to get started with my busy day and forgot to take the magnets off.
Was it just one day?
This is also my first campaign. I've worked with the town of Trail Creek for 13 years. ran unopposed. I've been in close contact with both Taylor and Heather on making sure I'm doing everything correctly. I definitely don't want to make any mistakes. I would have thought that my county chair would have just said, hey, you have your magnets on your car, can you please take them off? As soon as I was made aware of the complaint, the magnets are off, and now I have PTSD and haven't driven around town with them because I don't want to do anything wrong.
What, is there a specific code site or law that is initiated here by this complaint?
I was trying to find it. You know, the Hatch Act comes to mind, but that doesn't apply to local offices.
I did not find anything in the 52-page election packet either, but again, as I stand before you, I'm not trying to do anything incorrectly.
Is there a disclaimer on there?
A disclaimer about who financed it?
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Is it at least 12.5?
I would say
or 7
so.
where it can
Well,
be
no one
read.
made the complaint of that so far. So, do you know of any?
I couldn't find anything either. However, to me, I wouldn't do it because it wouldn't look good.
I agree.
And I get where somebody complained about it. I understand that, you know, you didn't feel like you're doing anything wrong because you can't find anything on it. So.
And Ms. Stevens, it's not a satellite office of your office for voting, is it?
It is not.
Because I looked under the electioneer statute, and I don't think it violates that.
No.
And it doesn't violate Hatch Act, unless someone can tell me I'm wrong. But that only applies to state employees and federal employees. So, Mr. McCormick?
Oh, I was saying little hatch fire. I think it's little hatch fire.
He's got a mic.
He wants to be heard. I'm not sure.
I think he's trying to say Little Hatch Act.
Little Hatch Act. Okay. All right.
But I don't think that was.
Well,
As I said, that when I found out that it was a problem, I walked right outside my office doors and took the magnets off immediately.
so it has been corrected?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Very good.
How many days did you have them on there at work?
Well, I saw the complaints that I had them on both sides. I had them on one side. It was, and that was on and off because there were times when I was like, well, I'm pulling into work, I better pull these off. But again, I didn't see anything in the 52 pages or however long that document is. I wasn't trying to challenge it at all, but my mornings are very hectic. I don't want to make any mistakes. I've been in close contact with both of you. You know that.
And
that
Ms.
I don't
Denham,
want
what's
to
your
make any-
position at
I'm the clerk treasurer.
clerk treasurer?
Yes, sir.
And so that was your employment?
Yes, it was. Or is currently.
All right. Well, I want to look into that more. I'd like to table this. In the meantime, condemn you from, and suggest highly that you don't do it again.
Sure.
I'd like to table it for the next meeting, which we're going to have another one because we received several complaints today. Not about you, but other issues. It's the time of year that we're going to be meeting more frequently, but I'd like to table it. And I make that motion so I can look more into this.
I'll second that.
So,
All in favor?
aye.
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 I have a question. Can I still drive around my town with them on?
I can't give you legal advice. I can only tell you when you've done something wrong. That may
So
be,
far, we don't know that exactly.
that might be frustrating, but
It's very frustrating because it's I can put them in my residents' yards, but and I'm driving on
is
town
it a government
streets.
vehicle?
No, it's my
It's a
personal
private vehicle?
hmm
I don't see anything wrong in doing that. Just don't park it on government property right now until we can address this.
Okay.
We're going to schedule a new meeting at the end of this meeting, so if you want to stick around, we've only got 22 minutes of availability left. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Complaint number 3, sign provided by Donna Kavanaugh advocating for Schmidt, McFadden, and Haley, but very clearly not for Bartlett. Filed October 6th, 2023 by Joyce Schmidt, and separately for the same issue, October 13th, 2023, filed by Jean Ann Cannon and J.D. Haley. Are the complainants here? Joy Schmidt, J.D. Haley, Jean Cannon.
J.D. Haley and Joy Schmidt.
You can come up together. Both raise your right hand. You promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth under penalties of perjury.
Yes.
State your name. You first, please.
Joy Schmidt.
Okay, and go ahead.
Donna had put up a sign. I just didn't want my name associated with a negative sign, and when I asked Donna to remove it, she complied right away and covered up our names.
Okay.
Jonathan Haley. I agree with everything Joy just said and would like to withdraw the complaint.
How long was the sign up?
I was notified on the train from Budapest to Prague and made the complaint. And within a day or two, it was removed to my knowledge. I was not back in the country, but it was very, very quickly. She's very responsive.
Okay.
They were removed and just put in her own yard.
Okay. Is Donna Kavanaugh here?
No. Oh, she is.
You'd like to come up, ma'am? Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Raise your right hand, please. Promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth under penalties of perjury.
I do.
State your name.
Donna Kavanaugh.
And how do you respond to the complaint?
Well, I put this on my yard after having years of difficulty with one of my neighbors running for office. Nothing personal to them, but my opinion was I was not in favor of them winning town council. And the other three people that are mentioned on my sign, one of them sent me a postcard asking me to vote for them. Another one I talked to when I first found out he was running extensively and said I would back him. We had a great conversation. And the third one I've known for a long time. I admire her greatly and we've talked. So I didn't know that it wasn't proper. So when people would go by the sign, they would say, "Thank you, Donna, for having the guts to put that up." And even some town employees came by in their town trucks and said, "Thank you." But, you know, I'm not trying to be negative, but I did find a letter in my mailbox last week. The sign's only been up for 2.5 weeks. Unsigned, with nothing on it, no stamp, and according to the post office, it's a $5,000 fine for doing that. It was very negative, and it was the same kind of rhetoric I've been hearing in the community of which I've lived off and on since I was 9 years old, where people come to me, I'm in the media, and they say, "Donna, you know, they're saying this about you or that about you." So I then confronted Joy Smith, who I've known for a long time, and I called her and I said, "Do you have a problem with it?" She said, "I'd appreciate it if you take it off." So I did. There it is. I did put a disclaimer on the bottom just today, just so people would know it's from me, and I'm happy to do that. I have been driving around here to get to this meeting. I noticed there were several signs in people's yards, and that's all the only place I put it, in my yard, that were against a particular lawyer who used to be a lawyer for the county, and it said, you know, not for so-and-so. There was no disclaimer on it. It's just a small sign like mine is, and they're all over. And I looked it up from 2 years ago when there were signs about Sheila Brilson and the county attorney, and there were some complaints made, and it was thrown out. It's my opinion. When I was 19 and 20, I represented the State Department in then Russia-occupied Poland. I learned very young that your freedom of speech is very important. Whether people agree with you or not, that's up to them, but that's why I put it out there. And I can, I didn't know why I was being summoned here, so I couldn't bring any witnesses, but I did prepare some documents. Can I show them to you?
Sure.
Okay, so with all due respect, I did call, because I didn't know why I was being brought here, I did call our congressman and I asked them for advice. They said, if you feel like you're being harassed over these signs, because the other signs are all around me. I live on a corner, I have the whole corner, and they just appeared one day all over me. And because I have had lots of trouble with these neighbors, I just was inspired to do my own sign. And so the congressman said, if you have any more problems with the neighbors, you should file a police report. The chief did come the first day I put the sign down. He was there at 7 o'clock in the morning. He asked me to move them back a little bit, and then he never said take them down or anything else. But the congressman said I should file a complaint of harassment. I did call the chief who I trained with in the Citizens Police Academy in 2019, and we both decided we wouldn't do that. However, I do have a copy here of complaints that I have had to file with the police over many things that have happened toward me and my family over the past decade. This is why I put that sign up. I would like to make it known to the complainant and to the panel here that I have no ill will toward my neighbors. I just wish they would leave me alone.
Sure.
So I respect your position as counsel here, and I will abide by your recommendations.
If I could, go ahead.
So, do you have any law that supports your position that this is free speech?
A law, the First Amendment.
Okay, so Majors versus Abel, our Supreme Court, as well as the Seventh Circuit of Appeals, actually allowed this statute to be constitutional in spite of the First Amendment. It is an anti-corruption statute. They require disclaimers. There is no excuse. Okay? Again, I am not trying to be forceful with you. At the last meeting, which you did not see, I said that I was going to start implementing these rules so that no one, and I mean no one, was above them. Unfortunately, you admitted, who is LBFC?
That's me.
What does that stand for?
Long Beach. I just came back from a meeting with my cancer doctor. I'm recovering from radiation, so please read it back to me and I can tell you.
LB.
Makes you forget.
Let's start with the LB.
Long Beach.
FC.
Freedom Committee.
Are they a PAC?
No.
Who are they?
So when the signs went up, several people came to me and said, Donna, you should have a disclaimer on there. So I put my information on. I didn't know about disclaimers, so I apologize. I didn't know anything about that.
That's okay.
And those signs that I've seen that are very similar to mine, without a disclaimer, there's no disclaimers on them, and they're everywhere all over LaPorte.
Please report them because we will handle them.
Okay, one is on Pine Lake.
Make a written complaint.
I don't want to. I'll just give you the information if you want them. But apparently they've been used in various elections for the past 4 years.
Okay, we will.
Because I was reading past information from the LaPorte County, the LaPorte newspapers. Before I came here, there's articles about that where people disputed these signs and they said, you know, we have freedom of speech, we're allowed as long as it's on our private property and we're not giving the signs out to other community members, etc. And my signs are on my property.
It's just simply not true.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And Ms. Kavanaugh, you understand, and the logic for what Mr. Schaffner is saying is you understand you're advocating for a candidate when you have a sign. Okay, when you place a sign regardless of whether it's on your personal property. And to go one step further, the statute says, and the statute I'm quoting is Indiana Code 3-9-3-2.5 H3, talks about if these candidates hadn't authorized you to put their names on there, then you also, in your disclaimer, not only do you have to put who it was paid for, but you also have to put that the communication on there was not authorized by those candidates.
Okay, but it's not a political sign. It's a statement of my freedom of expression. That's not the same?
I think it is, and I think Mr. Schaffner kind of already explained that. And so...
May I just interject? My goal was to say I am for these candidates because they asked me to back them, or at least two of them did, and I'm not for the other one.
Just
It
so
was
we're clear going forward in the future, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Excuse me, do you mind if I take my coat off?
Sure.
It's kinda hot in here. Thank you.
So go ahead.
Ma'am, this could possibly be looked at as a criminal offense.
I had no criminality in my mind when I put the signs up. I was just expressing
That
my
goes
opinion.
towards intent. And that's why we're addressing this as a civil penalty, which I'm now making the motion that you incur a fine of $250, $100 per week
Okay.
that the sign was up. And I highly, highly suggest you take care of that committee or whatever it is for LBFC
Mm-hmm.
because they have to be organized. If they're not organized as a committee, you are looking at a whole host of other fines.
Understood.
Okay?
I wanted to ask you though, in the future, if you just want to express your opinion, you're not allowed to put a sign on your property at all?
Not when it comes to election signs
Okay.
without a disclaimer. The Supreme Court has made that very clear.
And the statute makes it clear too.
So even though I wrote on there a disclaimer on the bottom, do I have to like register it
Well,
somewhere?
part of
or-
it, you didn't write that who it's not authorized by, meaning those candidates' names that, and they stood up here and indicated they didn't want to be a part of that. That was
But then
part of their
I blacked
complaints.
out their names
Yeah,
this week.
right. But
So
in
those
your
names are all-
disclaimer, you need to also put that it was not authorized by those candidates.
If the names are on there.
That's correct.
So they were on there the first week, but not this week. So I put white tape under the white sign and blacked out all their names.
Okay, and my eyes are bad, so bear with me here. It says paid for by LBFC is
Yes.
what it says.
That's right.
However, that committee has never been formed, so that's the other part of the problem.
So I wrote that when neighbors came to me and said,
it
they're
doesn't
complaining,
exist.
you should, I really didn't know that there was a difference. So that was my ignorance and I admit to that.
Okay. So let me just explain the gravity of the situation here.
Sure.
Just for that offense,
Yeah,
we could fine you up to $1,000.
understood.
I don't want to do that.
Thank you.
I just want this to stop. Okay? I'm asking that you be fined $250 for a non-complying sign for the 2.5 weeks that it's been up. I highly, highly suggest that you look into it before I get a complaint that now we have another issue to deal with. I make that motion. Is there a second?
A second.
And let me amend that motion to you have 10 days to pay.
Okay, where do I pay?
LaPorte County Election Board at the clerk's office.
All right, and just to be clear, because of my recovery from cancer and radiation, I do have to take the signs down now, right?
If they are non-compliant, yes.
Okay. If in fact, do I have 1 more minute? I'm sorry to take up any more time. If I just have
We've
this
got 8.
sign without that, what would I have to put underneath to keep this sign as it is like this?
Paid for by your name.
Your name
So
would,
just
would
that's all I
satisfy
have to
that.
say. If I want to keep this in my yard,
Yes.
I'd black this out and just write underneath paid for by Donna Kavanaugh and I can keep the signs up until election day?
Yes.
All right, and
If the
250.
font, if the font is correct.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Make sure it's large enough to read and not easily overlooked.
Okay.
If you put a 22-point font, you'll probably be okay. I think the minimum is 12. Just make it 20, okay?
And that was the clear and conspicuous language that you heard me address the other candidates.
I respect your positions. Thank you for enlightening me in the future. I hope I don't have to have any of these signs based on what I just gave to you. And thank you for the work you do for the county. Thank you.
Is there a second to my amended motion?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
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 May I just say this for the record?
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing against this woman, okay? We have differences of opinion on a lot of things. I just
Sure.
hope, I have reached out to her many times, she just walks past me. I hope that in the future, as Christians in LaPorte County, we can somehow come to an agreement to disagree and not be like that.
I hope that for you as well. We just cannot allow lawlessness to run rampant in elections in LaPorte County anymore.
I didn't attempt to be lawless.
I'm not casting judgment on your dispersions. I don't want you to think that you're this evil, rotten person.
I'm not. Thank
you didn't
you.
know. Unfortunately, ignorance of the law is no excuse. And unfortunately for you, a month ago I decided that we were going to start enforcing this and everything. So next year is going to be especially fun.
Well, I have a radio and TV show. I'm on WNIT in South Bend for 18 years and on the radio out of Michigan, and I'm about to launch a commercial program in Chicago. So if you want to come on, be my guest, and tell the rest of my audience what I didn't know, I would extend you an invitation.
I would appreciate that, actually.
Thank you for your time.
I want to stress, I am so in favor of free speech. That's why I let public comment go on for as long as I do. I don't shut it down. Notice I haven't asked anybody in here if they're Republican or Democrat. I don't care. You're either compliant or you're not. I want everyone to be compliant. I want elections to be fair and free. I want the voters to have a choice. There's just laws on the books.
May I just say this one other thing? And I'm a talk show host. You can tell me to shut up. I tell that to my friends. I won't be offended. Can I just say this, that I've covered every war since the Vietnam War, since I was sent over at 19 and 20. I met Putin when I was very young, we're the same age. I've covered every war. So I was just sent a notice. I'm going to the Middle East. I'll be there for 72 hours. Our president was just there for 7 hours. But I have a mission. And so I do believe in free speech and following the rule of law. So thank you very much, and pray for me that I come back in one piece, okay? I would appreciate that.
Thank you for being professional and handling our judgment.
Thank you.
Good luck, ma'am.
Moving on to complaint number 4. We have 5 minutes. David Whitfield signs did not have a disclaimer filed by Kendra Bartlett. Kendra? Rest on your complaint? For the record, she said that she does not have anything further. Is David Whitfield here? Make it real quick.
I'm taking the signs down, okay?
Okay.
I'm starting right now. He's not looking at me, but I'm trying to heal whatever is going on
Sure.
between all of us. So
I wish you the best of luck in that.
all right, and
Kendra, could you come forward, please? As a complainant, I have a question. Let me remind you, you're still under oath.
Okay.
How long were these signs up?
I don't think very long. Maybe 2 days, 3 days. Wait, are you talking about Donna's signs?
David's.
Dave, I think like 2 days. 2 days maybe.
Okay.
And I did contact him too, and he didn't know. He put a disclaimer on them, and just for the record, I just followed the rules with all the complaints I made. I was part of the Long Beach party that you guys mentioned about that pack, and somebody filed the complaint against us 4 years ago, and we had to take 500 signs down within 24 hours. And then put disclaimers on them and put them back up. So part of me, I'm just following the rules. So everything I saw during this election, I just followed procedures and turned them all into you guys and thought you would handle it. I didn't know we'd all have to come, but it's fine that we are. But I just wanted to follow procedures. And I let Dave know, and he put little disclaimers on his signs too. So I think they're taken care of.
And I did we got an email, I believe, showing that they were fixed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay. I believe he's the one that pointed out it was 21.5
Yeah,
or something
20,
to that effect.
yes.
Okay. I'm kind of using you to broadcast. If everyone came in here and said they didn't know, can you imagine the city would be like Gotham?
Right.
Unfortunately for him, I have to make a motion that he incur a $100 fine because it was within a week. I do appreciate that he fixed it, and I hope that he learns in the future.
I will just add, I don't really know. I'm just guessing they were up for a day or two. They might have been up a couple hours. I honestly don't know.
Well, what I'm going off of is 1 day to a week is $100.
Yeah.
And that might.
I just wanted to add that in his defense.
That's my feel, and I want to make this clear. That's my feeling today. So next year, if there's a bigger problem, I might be kicked off this board.
It's fine.
I just want this. I want this to stop. So $100, and I'm not setting a precedent for myself with that disclaimer. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Just a quick question for Taylor. Mr. Whitfield, he was notified of this meeting, correct?
He was, yes.
Okay,
and I told him, even though that the sign was fixed, that it was still going to be a discussion at the meeting.
Okay, then I'll second your motion.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 And it's his board in agreement. He has 10 days to pay
10 days.
upon receipt of receiving the notice that he has to pay.
Yep.
Motion?
I move for 10 days.
Okay.
$100.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Board member comments.
I'm gonna go really quick and really fast. We're already getting more complaints. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this with love. Long Beach, get it together. There is a battle going on. Oh my goodness. Poor Taylor the last 2 weeks. So, and while I'm saying that, I am going to state, and I'm not going to say that this dies here because I don't believe it will. I was sent an anonymous screenshot of a Facebook group and a candidate literally telling the people in Long Beach, it doesn't, basically to the gist of, it doesn't matter whether or not you're an Indiana resident. If you own property, you can vote here. Absolutely not. Okay, it's time to spread the word because that is a felony. So,
and it goes without saying, many people might own mutual property within different states, okay? But there's a thing called domicile. And domicile is typically where you reside a majority of the time. And so
Heather, are you done with your comments?
I think so. The only other thing I wanted to say is that we had a little hiccup with the mobile voting unit schedule this past week. It could not get to a location due to road closure. This board clearly did not have time to issue public notice and meet, so I just made an executive decision and said, okay, we're not going there tomorrow. I worked with our local media, canceled the schedule for that location, and that was that.
Jim?
I just want to say that I look forward to the upcoming election, and I know there's more complaints coming in, and I think we will get them resolved. And I'm also optimistic. I think in 2024, when the big elections come around, hopefully we're not going to see these type of complaints anymore because we're vetting them now, and I think it's, for anybody who's watching, we're establishing at least a precedent that we're going to take action on these and just not overlook them. So that's all I have to say.
My comments are just to echo what I've said. Everyone in this room, spread the word. This board will take action. I don't care what race you are running in or what party you belong to. You will be fined. There are criminal penalties for several of these things, and this board can act without complaints. We have the responsibility to audit and investigate. So, God help Long Beach if I go drive around there. I'll give them 72 hours. But come Monday, I might just go take a stroll.
So do it right is what he's saying.
I have no political aspirations, so I have nothing to lose. I just want this county ran correctly. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Well, before that, can we schedule a meeting without knowing what the availability is?
I have been texting with Diane Gonzalez in the commissioner's office. The meeting room is unavailable next Friday.
Okay.
But it is available Thursday at 3, and I don't know about the two of you. Can you do that?
I cannot.
Okay, what else you got?
I have Monday, October 30th, or Halloween.
I'd rather do the day before. I don't want to.
How much of a load is there that is coming for this?
Let's see what happens. Who knows?
Is it similar to these here that we've just discussed
It's starting.
today?
It's getting heavy. Why don't Diane is gone for the weekend. I don't want to text her. She doesn't have the schedule in front of her at this point.
That's Monday's open.
You want to do October 30th?
Let's shoot October
Could you do that
30th.
with the criminal call and at 1:30, maybe like do 3 again?
Thank you. We don't have it. There's no time to issue notice.
To do 3 o'clock? Yeah, I could
Monday
do
the 30th.
Monday the 30th at 3. I can do that with my schedule.
All right, there's going to be a meeting October 30th at 3 p.m. in this room,
We hope. I'll check.
tentatively. Motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second, third.
All in favor, say
whatever.
aye.
Have a good weekend.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.